Let me ask you a question. Have you ever experienced a story or a work of art that hits too close to home, that becomes too personal, that you feel like you can't distance yourself from? I've been through more this past year than in almost any previous. No matter how much I work out, my body has deteriorated. We've got infections, random lacerations, visits to the ER, and doctors. I've wandered the country I call my home, traveling from place to place, living with friends or family. My skull itches, my teeth hurt. I think my eyes have gotten worse again. I also learned that blindness sometimes runs in my family's blood. And yet, do you know what can hurt more than all of that? Love. I honestly, genuinely think that love is one of the most painful things in this world. And yet, which one of us isn't drawn to it like a moth to an open flame, so eager at its bright beauty that we will burn ourselves to death just to feel its warmth? I watched the Reze movie. I've read the arc, of course. I love Tatsuki Fujimoto. I think he's one of those rare artists that can articulate things that there aren't really words for, and considering my own faulty word-based creation, I find that immensely envious, inspiring, and wonderful. I've talked about a lot of his work in other videos, but I haven't spoken about Chainsaw Man. You might wonder why that is. I find myself often wondering the same thing. The answer, as far as I can get, my friend, is that Chainsaw Man upsets me. It disturbs me. It makes me sad, viscerally, deeply upset. Each time I watch it, each time I read it, it feels like I get more disturbed than the time before, like it upsets me each time more than before. The effect has grown stronger, not weaker, on each subsequent viewing, and it doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't make sense. I love monsters, aliens, horrors. I love Berserk and Made in Abyss and Come and See and Ran and The Long Walk. I love stories that leave me with a strong sensation, good or bad. To be disturbed is to be elated. To be moved for me is to feel that flame and be a moth longing to burn my wings. But Chainsaw Man is different. I don't know why. I've seen plenty of things more upsetting, more horrifying, more, Chainsaw Man is funny. It's heartfelt, genuine. It's charming and witty. And it hurts me each and every time I view it, each and every time I read it. I'm just going to be talking about the Bomb Devil arc today, but there's so much more, an endless amount more. I'll cover it in a different video. Maybe I'm not even talking about the Bomb Devil arc or the Reze movie itself. Maybe I'm just writing an essay about how it makes me feel and maybe why. Maybe this is too personal. It probably is. Maybe it's because I have no one to talk to. Therapy. Maybe that's why I make these videos. Denji meets a girl in the rain. Her name is Reze. She has beautiful green eyes. I notice sometimes that I always see that first about a person. Before anything else, I always see their eyes. It's not even intentional. I can't help it. You can get lost in them, inside human eyes. From that moment onwards, Denji keeps going to the cafe that Reze works at. I don't even know if he consciously knows why, but he goes day after day. He drinks coffee he doesn't like and takes time out of his life to visit. And the thing is that it's not because the girl is beautiful or pretty or alluring, though perhaps all of those things are true. It's because she shows him affection, genuine, strange affection, which at this point in the story of Chainsaw Man is something completely alien to him. Of course, power is power, Himeno is Himeno, and Makima is, But Reze is different. She isn't demonically inspired, drunk, or holding a leash. They just met in the rain. They're just talking over coffee. He just fucking spat out a flower and gave it to her as a magic trick, and instead of running away like any normal person, she laughed. Honestly, actually laughed. There is this thought that Denji has, and it goes something like this. I love the kind of girl who loves me. This is fucked up. You don't do that. You don't offer your heart just because they offer theirs to you. It's not the thing. And yet, sometimes it feels like you can't help it. Sometimes someone gives you affection and you are drawn to it. And that scares me. It frightens me to death. It terrifies me so much that I can barely breathe. The two of them go to a pool and go swimming. I could talk for hours about the colors, the blocking, the composition, the art, the sound, in every medium that it exists. I think it's probably around here that Denji actually started falling for her. That feeling is one I, too, understand. I know many of you do too. That feeling of everything in a moment being perfect, locking into place, working. That feeling when you are with someone and your body stops aching, your mind stops worrying, you stop feeling fear, concern, the pain of being a human being, where the world outside falls away and it's just you and her or you and him alone. Maybe you went swimming together. Maybe you wandered an abandoned parking lot or mall. Maybe you saw her in an arcade and she was painted with neon light. Maybe it was in a basketball court and or volleyball or a movie theater. Maybe you were just lying in bed with your phone beside you and talking, and on the other side of the world, she was doing the same. Maybe you parked your car along an abandoned highway in the middle of the night, and the stars are above, and the autumn air stings with the first chill of winter as you took your breath, and you look over, and there she is, wearing a scarf pulled up to her cheeks and her nose turned red by the cold, and in that moment, in the dark, you just hold each other. Maybe not all of you have felt that, but I know some of you have, and I know that for each of you, when you picture that person, that moment, that it's more real than my voice is here and now. It's more real than wherever you are watching this video. I know that there is the urge at times to drown in that memory, to fly as a moth to a burning flame, to thrash about in that pleasant web till a spider comes along and... The point is that the moment in the pool with Denji and Reze, I think, serves as that moment. It's a perfect moment. For me, at least. And it hurts all the more because of it. That's why Chainsaw Man, for me, hurts so personally. It's a special kind of agony, I think, that grows with each subsequent experience. It reopens old scars and bathes in them with neon ultraviolence and experience. And like a moth to a flame, I cannot help it. In that way, the art itself has, within my life, taken on as much life as any breathing person. It doesn't go well with Reze or Denji, of course. Inevitably, it turns violent. It is as spectacular and magical as any artistic rendition of violence I have seen. And that's the thing, isn't that what love is? Obsessive, quiet, perfect, explosive, violent, and fiery. It's something so volatile it cannot be controlled, and yet it is so completely, utterly, absolutely, resolutely irresistible. And it's the same thing with this movie, with this arc, with this manga, with this story. That is why it is so painful. For me. So excruciatingly awful, so delightfully twisted and funny and kind and all the rest. And then it ends. Because that's how love works at times, I think. It pulls you in and burns you, it rips you apart and mangles you, and then it leaves. Maybe you want to wrap yourself and that other person in barbed wire and toothed chains, but in the end, you two don't work. Maybe it was just a ghost that you yourself saw. Or the you that both of you are didn't understand what each of you were feeling. Maybe you didn't realize how valuable it was till it was gone, until she was gone, until he was gone, whoever, whatever, wherever. It ends. And then you are left alone in a cafe, in a movie theater, on a beach, on the side of a highway, in a parking lot, whoever, wherever, whatever. In your hand, you are clutching a flower or two or a dozen all wrapped up, and you are left with the feeling of, what the fuck were you thinking? You didn't think they'd really show up, did you? I'm afraid that one day someone is going to come along and love me like that, and I will not be able to control myself as I fly into the fire. At the same time, it's also terrifying that that won't ever happen, that you won't ever feel that. Because I think sometimes that maybe I'm not capable of that, because at the end of the day, what I understood more than anything else in this movie, in this manga, in this story, in this arc, wasn't anything to do with Reze or Denji, but the scene where Makima is watching movies. She spends an entire day theater hopping from one movie to another, morning till night. That I understand. I've hacked out days to do just that. I go alone more often than not. I think I prefer it that way. And most of what I see is disappointing. I don't laugh or cry or feel excited. I don't feel anything at all while others around me cheer or scream or cry or flinch. I do wonder if theaters were always like that, or if it's only recently that my fellow human beings have lost politeness, decency. You know, these ripping apart theaters. It happens sometimes. This is not a circus, I want to say. There was this movie I went to a few months ago, Friday night, late screening. A bunch of middle schoolers came in along with a mother and about 7 10-year-old children. I walked out of that screening, in case you were wondering. I remembered why it was that I go alone, why it was that I find theaters and showings in the middle of the day when everyone else is at work or school. I remember why it is I stopped going to see many of the loudest movies of any given season. Why instead I pick theaters and movies and watch at times where you can have a whole theater to yourself, completely devoid of any other person. Ironically, the Chainsaw Man movie was like that for me. I know for many it isn't, and I'm happy that the movie seems to be successful and that a lot of people are going to see it, and that's good. Yeah, no problem with that. But I watched it with but 1 or 2 others in the theater, like I watched so many other movies, some far stranger, of course. In the end, I like art that moves me. In my body, in my mind, in my soul. The Bomb Devil arc moved me. The Reze arc moved me. In movie or manga, it moved me. I just wanted to say why, and I have nothing more to offer you than that. This is a hard video to make. It's a hard script to write. It's hard for me to read this off, but it's the only way I can articulate what this story means to me without making the inevitable 4-hour-long analysis video essay or breakdowns for all the different characters. I'm not really talking about the story itself. I'm more talking about my reaction to it, which, yes, it's a little personal, it's a little egotistical. I get it. I completely understand. And if you like it, that type of thing, great. And if you don't, you can hit the dislike. You can say fuck you. That's fine. I think that's all I got for now. I'm going to talk about this arc again in the future when the Chainsaw Man video happens, definitely. But until then, I hope everybody's doing okay. You know, smash the like button, subscribe button, do that, do the thing, the thing, and I'll see you when I see you. Take care, people.